Alright, so here we are on lesson 26% of a quantity, day 2, and today we're going to do the algorithm version. So one thing that I want you to add here at the top is this is kind of the standard setup for this algorithm. So the first fraction is part to whole, our first ratio I should say. So part over whole equals percent, and then percent is always over 100. Alright, so please make sure you have this written down because you're going to need this for all of these problems. Alright, example 1 says 5 of the 25 girls on the Alden Middle School soccer team are 7th grade students. Find the percentage of 7th graders on the team. And then it says show 2 different ways, but we're just going to do one. So they gave us 5 of the 25 girls. So they gave us the whole first part here, 5 over 25. Equals, and we know that this bottom right hand is always going to be 100. That's a given, and we're looking for the percentage. So that's where our question mark goes. So now it's the same idea as what we've been doing. How do we get from 25 to 100? We know we multiply by 4, so we're going to do the same thing on the top. We know 5 times 4 equals 20. So we can say, to answer the question, 20% is our answer. Alright. Example 2 says, of the 25 girls on the Alden Middle School soccer team, 40% also play on the travel team. How many of the girls on the middle school team also play on a travel team? So there's 25 total. So if we set up our algorithm here, there's 25 total girls. We know percent is always out of 100, and they told us that it's 40%. So they're asking us how many of the 25 play travel soccer. So now we're kind of going backwards. So we're going to ask ourselves, how do we go from 100 to 25? My arrow disappeared. That means we'd be dividing by 4. So that means we're going to do the same thing on the top. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So our answer would be 10 girls. Alright, so one trick is that your arrow is always pointing towards the question mark. So always make sure that it's pointing in the right direction so you don't get confused. Alright, example 3 here says the Alden Middle School girls soccer team won 80% of their games this season. If the team won 12 games, how many games did they play? So we're looking for the total. We're looking for how many total games did they play. So if we set this up, we know that they won 12 games, so that's going to go on the top here. We don't know what the total was, but we do know that the percentage was 80, and it's always out of 100. So when we look at 12 to 80, there's nothing that comes off the top of our head that we know multiplies nicely, and we really don't want decimals. So the first thing we can do here is we can simplify this half of the algorithm. So if we divide those both by 10, we end up with 8 over 10, and then over here we still have 12 and the question mark. Again, we still can't easily go from 8 to 12. Alright, so we're going to simplify one more time, and we're going to divide them both by 2. So on the left we still have 12 over the question mark equals 4 over 5. So now when we draw our arrows, we do know how to get from 4 to 12. You multiply by 3. So we're going to do the same thing on the bottom, multiply by 3. And we know that 5 times 3 equals 15. So our answer would be 15 total games. Alright, so go ahead and flip on over to the next page now. So now again we don't have the word problems, they are just asking us to find the part or to find the whole. So they're asking us what is 25% of 80, so if we set up our standard algorithm here, they gave us the 25% part, we know it's always out of 100, and then of 80, which is the total, which is the whole part, and we're looking for the part. So we asked ourselves, how do we get from 100 to 80, right? Because we need to point towards the question mark, and we're not sure. So let's do some simplifying. So if we divide the right-hand side both by 25, we would then end up with 1 over 4 is, and then the question mark over 80 still on the other side. So now to go from 4 to 80, we know we can multiply by 20. So we'll do the same thing on the top times 20. So our answer would be 20, and I'm going to put that up at the top here. I want you to try number 2 on your own. Your answer, though, should be 8. So we're going to skip down to number 3. And last one we're going to do all together. It's asking us to find the whole. So 45 is 90% of what number? So when we set up our algorithm, we know the 90% and we know this is 100. And they're asking us to find the whole, which is always on the bottom. We know 45 goes on the top. So now we're looking, do we know how to get from 90 to 45? Yes, we actually do. Just divide by 2 on the top and on the bottom. So 100 divided by 2 is 50. So our answer would just be 50. And if you think about it, if you're not sure if you're correct, think about it and go back, and it's asking us, is 45 90% of 50? 45 is pretty darn close to 50. So that means that that should make sense. Right? And number 4 here, I want you to try this on your own. And the answer you should get is 130. When it's asking you to find the original number, that's the same thing as finding the whole part of the algorithm. Alright, so go ahead and try those last 2 on your own, and then we will go over them in class.